last time we talked, looks like things may be getting a little better. And one of the things that looks like it's opening up is some of the events, or some of Iva's
Yes.
events.
Yes, they are. We're going to plan all of our events this year. We're going to start off in May with a Spring Express event, which will be a place for vendors to set up, craft vendors, art vendors, and food vendors. We'll have some music bands here, and then we will incorporate a car show with that as well. So that's May 15th, and we're excited. Hopefully, we'll have a lot of folks turn out. We do understand that the governor has lifted some of the restrictions. However, we're still going to encourage everybody to wear a face mask and still continue to social distance. We will start our Summer Nights programs back in June, which is a weekly Thursday night event where we have music bands to come in, and we'll have folks out there dancing, and it's a great time for people just to come out and fellowship with each other, especially the folks who live here in the community. It's also a good time for our local restaurants to sort of, they capture some of that traffic that comes in, so it's good for them as well. And then at our fall events, we'll have our Depot Day, our chili cook-off, provided that everything is going well. You know, we'll monitor month by month how things are going. So we want everybody to get back to life, but at the same time, we want to be careful and be conscious of, any threats that the virus may bring. I heard a report today that we may be living in the eye of a hurricane. So we're hoping that, that's false, and that, we're sort of over this, but we'll see. We'll just monitor as we go.
What about, you mentioned last time we were talking about the senior stuff. When will the senior stuff start kind of moving back into a regular sort of rotation?
Well, our Sunrise Seniors program, which is a pretty big organization, they've already started back meeting. They're meeting once a month. Of course, we require that they wear a face mask, and most of them have been vaccinated already, so they're feeling a little comfortable. But we still like to put safeguards in place. But they're starting to slowly come back, and we want them back. We want them back. As I told you last time, we really feel like the senior adult focus here is very strong because we have so many senior adults, and we feel like their social health is just as important as their physical health, and meeting and congregating together is an important aspect of that. The county had a grant that was with the Appalachian Council of Governments. I'm sure you're aware of that, where they had congregate dining meals. And we were eagerly waiting for that to start back. We don't have a word on that yet, when that can start back. But that was a three times a week, our senior adults were meeting. It was on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They had a meal, and they had social activities. They had physical activities. That right now is still on hold. So we're eagerly awaiting the word that we can start that back.
Do you feel like there is at least a growing optimism that people can get back together?
I think so. I think so, and I think it's, I think that's sort of around the country right now. Everybody's ready to sort of get back to normal, but we still want to be very careful. But yeah, I think there's a lot of optimism right now that life is getting back to where it used to be.
What other news has happened in Iva that people need to know about?
Well, this year we plan to have our events, of course. We have the Jacksonville property that now is the Jacksonville, the mill site the mill is down. So we have the property cleared, and we're going to be working with some real estate agents to try to get that marketed. I'm not sure if market is the word. You might want to start over on that one.
Okay,
Let me just start.
So we do have the Jackson, start with that.
So we do have Jackson Mill down now, and the property is vacant, and it's ready for development. Of course, we still have to work with some real estate agents to market that property. But we feel like Iva is a viable market. It's a small market, but obviously, we have a lot of work to do. It's going to take us a little longer to attract the right developer to that property, but we feel like it is worth the effort. We're meeting with the real estate agents now, and that is the property in Iva that is going to be essential to our growth. Along with that, we are annexing properties into the city limits, hoping that in the future we'll have a strong residential growth. And so while it may not happen next year, we're just trying to prepare ourselves for that. We're seeing what's happening in other cities, particularly in the north part of the county, and we anticipate that coming south. And we want to be ready for that, and we're eagerly waiting for that to happen here. So we want to be in a position that we have the properties and that we're able to provide the public infrastructure that'll be needed to attract residential growth, and that's what we're going to be working on. It's slow, but we think it will happen.
So housing's still at a premium here.
Housing is at a premium here because there's not a lot of it. When you see a house go on the market, it has a high price on it because there's not a lot of it here. So our housing inventory is very low, and the council and the mayor recognize that needs to be priority, and it is a priority right now. We've probably been a little slow in addressing that over the years, but now there's a lot of effort and a lot of emphasis on residential development.
What other economic news? Is there anything y'all are working on that people need to know about?
So we have a lot of restaurants that are looking at us right now. They're local mom and pop shops, which are essential to a small government. Our restaurants they appear to be back up and running pretty strong. Our community supports our restaurants, and they recognize the fact that there was such a slow pace with them that our community really stepped up and supported them, and during the pandemic kept them open, and I think that it appears that they're back up and running with good numbers. And so we do have some others that are looking at sort of starting up, and so the town's going to stand behind them, and of course we welcome any new business to the town. As far as other economic development projects here, everything's small, but the Jackson Mill property is going to be priority, of course, residential growth, and then we do have the old Fred's building that's still vacant. I stay in contact with the real estate agent as much as possible, hoping to hear good news any day. Right now, it doesn't appear that anything's going on with that, but we're keeping our fingers crossed that at some point somebody will call and take advantage of that building. It's in a good facility. It's in a good area. It's right on 81. It's a good parking lot there. So, it's great for a good tenant, but we're leaving it up to the real estate agent to market that building. The town does not own that building. It is owned by a bank, and so we're kind of a third party, but we do call and check in because it is a very viable interest to the community.
And I know we recently talked about the museum. It's got some roof issues they're working on. Are they going to get that done to get the museum open again fairly soon?
The target date for the museum to reopen is the Spring Express event, which will be May the 15th. So we've got to get it cleaned up because there are some moisture issues in there and, of course, some roof damage. But so we've got 2 months to get that back up and running. Of course, the pandemic sort of caused an issue there as well because we didn't want our volunteers in the facility. So with the absence of humans in the building and then the moisture issue that we've had, we do have a bit of work to do to get it back up and running. But the volunteers are eager to get back started, and we've got the building repaired. It's just a cleanup effort at this point and get everybody scheduled to get back in there.
And Iva boasts it's now People's Bank not just People's Bank of Iva anymore, it's People's Bank, the oldest locally owned bank in the county, and they're getting ready to celebrate an anniversary, right?
They are going to be celebrating their 70th year in operation. They got their start here in Iva. They were in Iva, and then they branched out into Homeland Park, and then from there they moved on into the city of Anderson. They've opened their newest branch over in Pendleton, so we're excited for Pendleton. But they were originally the People's Bank of Iva, and then as they grew, it became the People's Bank. But they are local, and their roots are here. We're very proud that they are the oldest locally owned bank in the county, and we hope to celebrate with them at some point this year. We'll be planning some events to recognize that.
About recreation, is recreation getting ready to open back up?
Yes, so the Iva Recreation Association, they are starting their spring sports now. They'll be out, folks in the community will see them out the ball fields. The Parker Bowie complex stays very busy. We have a great athletic association here and recreation association. Those guys do a great job with our local kids here, and they stay very busy.
And we've talked before, I think last time we talked about Iva's location, how are the cooperative efforts between Iva and all the areas around? It's not just Anderson, but Iva's sort of located in a hub around a lot of places. How's that working out? Any partnerships going on there or anything?
So Ava has great partnerships with, of course, Anderson County, but we also have a great partnership with Abbeville County. We are on the Heritage Corridor, of course, and we are, West Carolina has a pretty strong footprint in this area. And so Iva, Abbeville, McCormick, we're all part of the footprint. West Carolina is they're our local telephone, and cable provider now, internet provider. And so they are a great sponsor and a great partner of this community. We have folks from Elberton, from Hartwell, who come over to Iva, just over the river, to commerce here. The lakes are a great area where Iva serves as a hub for the owners who have property on the lake. The residences the residential growth at the lake has really been a great benefit to our community.
You're close to a lot of water.
We are known as the gateway to the freshwater coast because there are several freshwater lakes here. And if you come to Iva, you're going to see boats, and you're going to see fishermen, and you're going to see a lot of hunters here as well because we have so many acres available. We're a very rural community, so we have a lot of acres available for hunting. And we do pride ourselves on that. We would like to, have a big city here, but at the same time, it's great to be rural. It's great to have all of these natural resources around us that are not, highly densified. We're a rural community, and there's a lot to be thankful for in that. So our residential growth, of course, will change that as it happens. But again, we're excited about it. We're hoping it's going to happen down this way. I think it'll happen with people who are wanting to look for a more relaxed way of life, particularly people who are retired, who like to fish, who like to hunt, because we have it here. This is where it's at.
What about roads? Are roads an issue everywhere? I know everybody I talk to talks about roads. What's the road situation down here?
Well, that is something you hear every election year. The roads need to be fixed. We do have city roads that need repaired. We have city roads that need to be paved. Under the county, well, of course, if you're in a municipality, it's either the state owns the road or the city owns the road. So the state, we encourage the state to do their part in repairing their roads. But the city, of course, we're limited in our resources. We're limited in our financial resources to repair roads. One road, to pave a road, could be, over $100,000. So we depend on aid from the county. We depend on aid from the County Transportation Committee, which is appointed by the delegation. And we'll be applying for roads, and we have to be very particular about which roads we apply for, because there could be, a year or two in between the time frame there that we get to apply for another road. So we have to make sure that we pick the right road. But we have some roads that are in pretty good condition. But as far as how many roads need to be paved right now, we're probably at about 15 to 16 roads. It's over $1 million. So it's not going to happen, not this year. But again, the state, we encourage the state to assess their roads and pave them when needed. They have more resources than we do. So we have a new police chief. Jason Hawkins served as the chief of police here for several years, and he retired back in January. And so the city council, the mayor and city council, appointed Mr. Shook Hamden as our new chief of police. He comes from Clemson, and we have been very pleased with his performance. He is very community-oriented, very community-minded. He has turned out to be a great chief, and we're very excited about the future with him. So, the folks in this area in particular, hopefully they'll get to meet him at some point. Maybe not on a traffic stop, but we'll meet him at a community event, or maybe just drop by City Hall and just welcome him to the community.
And remind people how fire and police and everything works, because different towns do things different ways. Y'all do have your own.
We do. So in Iva, we have our police department, and we provide school resource officers to the 5 schools here, which is to Anderson School District 3, and we also have road officers we have 5 road officers with a chief. And we do have the volunteer fire department, and we have a rescue squad. Now, those are not ran by the town, but they have been a part of the town for years. And so we claim them, and we are partners together. The rescue squad is funded by the county, and the fire department is funded by the county as well. But the fire department is a volunteer fire department.
So we were talking, I think we talked one time before, but now we're talking about landscaping and some of the other things that are going on here.
One neat thing that we're going to be doing in just a couple of weeks is the gazebo serves as basically our front yard to the town. There are flagpoles there we have trees that were planted in the parking lot in honor of the astronauts that when I believe it was the Challenger exploded back in 86 or 87, I'm not sure, but we planted trees in the parking lot. Those trees have become so mature now that we can't fly flags. So we're moving the flagpoles thanks to a grant that we got from the delegation, the park grants. We're going to be moving the flagpoles and creating a new Veterans Park. In doing that, we'll be creating a new plaza that'll have a new Veterans Monument. We'll be moving the flagpoles to that plaza and that memorial. So we're excited to see how that's going to turn out. That's going to be happening in just a couple of weeks. In addition to that grant, we also received 2 additional grants to build new picnic shelters at our 2 parks, one at East Lake Street Park and one at Elsie Evans Memorial Park. With those picnic shelters, we'll also be installing grills. We've noticed that our parks are used, especially in the spring and summer, for birthday parties, and so we want to have those amenities out there. In our town, we do allow folks to use those amenities free of charge. It's first come, first served. But so each park now will have 2 picnic shelters, and we'll have swings and playground equipment along with these newly installed grills. So that's stuff that we'll be seeing in just a couple of weeks before we meet again. When we meet again, hopefully I can report how they've been received, and we hope it's going to be a good reception from our community members.